On July 18, 1989, 21-year-old Rebecca Schaefer opened her door, expecting to find a script delivery from Francis Ford Coppola. She had previously starred in My Sister Sam, Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, Voyage of Terror, The Achille Lauro Affair, The End of Innocence, and her career only seemed to be getting started. There were rumors of being in the running for the lead role in Pretty Woman, and on that fateful morning she was waiting for a chance to audition for a role in The Godfather 3. However, when she opened the door, it was to find 19-year-old fan Robert John Bardo waiting for her. Armed with a gun his brother had bought for him after being denied by a gun store owner based on his mental health issues, and given her address by a private investigator, he fatally shot her, ending her career before it could fully bloom. On June 10, 2016, Christina Gammy was performing an opening act for the band, Before You Exit. After her act, she left the stage to offer autographs and meet fans, one of whom was 27-year-old Kevin James Loibel. Armed with 2 handguns, 2 loaded magazines, and a large knife that he'd only bought 2 days prior, he fatally shot her. Although immediately tackled by Christina's brother, he managed to kill himself before he could be arrested. Parasocial relationships, as defined on findapsychologist.org, are one-sided relationships where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence. Parasocial relationships expand the social network in a way that negates the chance of rejection, and empowers individuals to model and identify with individuals of their choosing who naturally elicit an empathetic response. Because of the publicity and perceived intimacy to or connection with a person in the limelight, it's common to form these relationships with celebrities, both major and minor. Often, this leads to entitlement, wherein fans believe that their attention and monetary engagement means that a star owes them attention in turn. One can find an example of this in Britney Spears, who was thrust into the spotlight at a young age, marketed as both innocent and sexualized to a heavy degree, and who was the target of a media campaign that thoroughly invaded her privacy and undoubtedly played a part in her mental health issues. As noted by Randy Ford and Elizabeth Matthews in the hypersexualization and exploitation of Britney Spears in the media, the paparazzi invaded her whole life, while also expecting her to cater to them. To make matters worse, Britney, who openly talked about how important motherhood was to her, was then criticized for that too. A specific incident incited many accusations that she did not care for her children or that she was unfit as a mother. Whilst leaving a restaurant, Britney, holding her son, was stormed by paparazzi, and in a rush to get to her vehicle, she stumbled, almost dropping the baby. This spread through the media like wildfire, many people stating that she cared more about the drink she had in her other hand rather than her own child. Conveniently enough, the actions of the hordes of people who put both her and her baby's life in danger were brushed off. A newly prominent example can be seen in Chappelle Rowan. After rocketing to fame almost overnight, Rowan put out a statement to fans who felt owed her attention and eroded her privacy.
I need you to answer questions. Just answer my questions for a second. If you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from the car window? Would you harass her in public? Would you go up to a random lady and say, "Can I get a photo with you?" And she's like, "No, what the fuck?" And then you get mad at this random lady? Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? Would you follow her around? Would you try to dissect her life and bully her online? This is a lady you don't know. And she doesn't know you at all. Would you assume that she's a good person? Assume she's a bad person? Would you assume everything you read about her online is true? I'm a random bitch. You're a random bitch. Just think about that for a second, okay?
While some fans found the statement off-putting, many female stars supported her hardline boundary for the need for personal safety. Holly Holiday, an associate professor of media, journalism, and film at Missouri State University, noted the role that social media has played in further encouraging parasocial relationships. She reports, "Social media, and this is especially true for social media manned by the celebrity themselves, reduces that distance, reduces that barrier, so that intimacy and the feeling of knowingness is very much increased. It used to be, when you learn information about a star, you learn through these very carefully selected channels, so like celebrity gossip magazines, interviews, or press releases. Now, it's almost as if you have a much more direct contact with a celebrity. Social media also allows for a better sense of authenticity and audience connection that can lead fans to feel like they really do know a star, even if that's not the case.
As somebody with somewhat of a following on TikTok, I want to talk about how parasocial relationships are developing because I think it's really interesting. If you don't know what a parasocial relationship is, it's essentially a one-sided relationship, usually with a celebrity. For example, a fan is investing energy and interest in a celebrity, and the celebrity has no idea of the existence of this one individual fan. And this has existed, I assume, as long as celebrities have really been a thing. But usually with celebrities like Taylor Swift, there's still sort of a level of distance between the idol and the person who's admiring them. Because even if you know a lot about this person, it still doesn't really feel as personal, you know? However, I think with TikTok, parasocial relationships are really changing in that way. Because exactly the way that I'm making this video right now, the interaction between the viewer and the creator is becoming a lot more one-on-one in the way that it feels. And this is really reflected in the comments. People really comment on TikTokers' videos as if they are friends. I'd say a good example of this is a creator like Victoria Paris, who posts all the time, and her videos sort of feel like you're on FaceTime with her. And you go to her comments and people comment on her videos as if they're best friends, like as if they've known each other for years. Even me, I don't consider myself famous by any extent, but I will go to my comments and people who I have no idea who they are comment on my videos like using my first name and speaking to me as if we've been friends for a very long time. And it's really interesting. The way TikTok is sort of organized and the way people make content on a daily basis has made it so that if you're a fan of someone and you follow someone for years, you will learn so much information about them just because of the way that people make videos on this platform. People who watch the videos of any sort of personable creator, they will know so much about this person. And it makes sense that you start to really feel like you know them. In a way, you comment on their videos as if you are friends because somehow it sort of feels like you are because you know as much about this person as like a casual friend would. I do think this is different from the way that parasocial relationships have always been with like the Kardashians or Taylor Swift or Harry Styles, like these huge figures who have very, very devoted fans, because the way that you're now receiving the information from these individuals is becoming so much more personable. The feeling that you know them and the feeling that you're friends with them is becoming so much more tangible than I think it was before. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I just think about this all the time whenever I see comments on somebody's videos or my videos where people are commenting as if they're best friends with the creator. And I do think it's really nice. I think it's nice that people are able to have those connections. Has anybody else ever thought about this? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Even on a smaller scale, it's important to remember that it's rare that you actually know the artist that you like and to maintain boundaries. If you wouldn't act that way towards a normal stranger, you shouldn't do that to a famous person either. Certainly, we can do away with the entitlement to a performer's personal life and excuse a desire for boundaries. Doing so may keep a star mentally and physically safe. Coupled with the increasing sexualization of female stars, all the ingredients are there for a horrible tragedy to potentially occur. The sexualization of famous women, furthermore, illustrates that even divided by class, our sex still defines the expectations placed upon us, no matter how much talent should speak for us instead of our appearance. This, dear viewers, is where we part. First things first, I don't like Chappelle Rowan. I think she's overrated. I like country music and very obscure metal-y stuff. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I don't like popular things. I don't, but it's not like me trying to be pretentious. I just think that I've been recommended her so many times and she just feels very overrated. She's just a pop star. I don't get it. But I do feel for her in that when she was asking for boundaries, people would be like, well, it's part of the job. You should be used to it. Yeah, and part of the job of a nurse is, like, having to deal with bodily fluids, but they still shouldn't have to deal with, like, patients spitting on them. Anyhow, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!